Alrighty, I'm back with part 2 of my haul video. If you watch the beginning, you'll know what beginning of that of part 1. You'll know what I'm showing here, what show and all, and about the foreground and background. Let's get on going with the cards. I got a bunch of Topps gold parallel cards to show you. One is this little out of order. This one's from 1993, Jose Canseco there. Now it's from the previous year, from 1992. Bought a bunch of gold cards. Some of them are the winner cards as well. And I won't say who's on every single card, so y'all can see. I'm sure y'all can tell who they are. Hopefully y'all can know. I know the nameplate is shiny because of the gold, but I'm sure y'all can tell who it is. If not by the nameplate, then quite possibly the faces or the uniform numbers or teams. Yeah. Romantic music, people. Yeah, I like to organize. This will give me a lot of something to do during when I'm watching baseball or some program, TV show. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do, it's usually like on a History Channel or one of those travel channel with which has Food Paradise, or one of the American Heroes channel or something like that. And watch something earlier today. Today being Sunday the 15th of July, about some conspiracy theory involving Pearl Harbor, that this one writer is accusing FDR of having him wanting Pearl Harbor to happen so he can go to war against Germany and Japan. And he had a hard time with Congress because a lot of them were isolationists. And anyway, they had the author on, but they also had people on there that pretty much contradicted what he said. So, I mean, the writer kind of seemed like a kooky guy. I mean, smart guy, well spoken, I'm sure he's quite intelligent, but it was all, I mean, he seemed like he was reaching a bit with some of the evidence he was citing, and this seemed a little far-fetched, making connections where some people would say that there are no connections. This happened, so this means that because something happened, and then they would have one of the other people on that says, no, that's not what that means, or something like that. It's a relatively new show. I think it came out earlier this year or late last year. Anyway, kind of reminds me of the 9/11 people, the 9/11 truthers, or whatever they call themselves. Whatever. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I let people have their fun, if that's what they consider fun. I don't know. New Hall of Famer here, Jim Thome. How many home runs did he end up with? Like 400 or something, or 500 or something? I can't remember. Now, I know Eddie Murray ended up with over 500 home runs. Switch hitter, one of the best switch hitters of all time. Albert Bell used to be called Joey at one point. I think I remember reading that he didn't like that name. I think that's his birth name, and Albert is his first name, and Albert's his middle name. But anyway, let's keep on going. Now, this next group of cards I'm about to show you, I think they're from the mid-90s, like 95, and they're Topps cards, but I've never seen them before. I wonder if somebody can give me a name on these. I mean, they're kind of funky cards. They're really thick cards, and the top, the surface is embossed, I guess you can say, call it, where you can feel, where it's like a bit raised, and you can feel the texture. Now, most of these, like what I'm about to show you, have two different versions. It's like a regular, somewhat silvery version. That's a Randy Johnson, and then here's the gold version of that same card. Oh, there you go. Now you can see the gold. And then here's a gold version of Paul Molitor. I mean, I've never seen these before. I never heard about them, and I think that's Ozzie Smith. Yeah, and then I think these two are from the same set. They must be insert set, but or maybe they're a different kind of parallel. I'm not sure. Okay, now it's on to I guess you can call it the player stack, or what is grouped. Well, this is grouped largely by players. And first, I'm going to show you some individual cards that then it'll go to whether there's 2 or more cards per player. There's you can see who it is. I won't say who it is. If I say which one it, what the card is, who it is, it'll slow me down here because I still got. This is the last batch of baseball cards. I still got the football cards to go through, which might end up being part 3, and then I'll tack on to that video the stuff I picked up from the card shop, which I went to eventually afterwards yesterday. Went to the gym, and then after the show, and then I went out to the card shop, which is card shop is about 16 miles from where I live out west. Still in Houston. I remember Mark Grace rookie cards, or looking at older price guide publications and seeing Mark Grace rookie cards are going for quite a bit. There's a Post. You gotta love the food releases. Amazing how many different food releases there were. Post, Kellogg's, Jimmy Dean, Mother Cookies, Tombstone Pizza, and so on and so on, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I understand why they got into it, because the cards were a money-making machine industry, and there's just that it helped burst the bubble, Now here's a couple of Jeff Bagwell cards. Yeah, there's a literal house of cards that caved in on itself, Bagwell card with shares with Frank Thomas. Of course, the strike in '94 and into '95 is what really burst the bubble, I think. Some people say that the industry was already on a downward slope even before the strike, and that if the strike never happened, it would have taken a few more years, but the bubble would have burst eventually. The strike sped it up a whole bunch. Went from a steady decline to like basically just falling off the side of a mountain. Wasn't rapid, it was just bam, sudden. At least that's my take on it. A couple Gary Carter cards. Or one Gary card. Where's the other one? Oh, never mind. I showed both of them. Brain fart. Cal Ripken Jr. cards. Ding. That was on to Robin Yount. Alan Silvestri, the composer to the music we're listening to. Yeah, you can hear similarities between his music, like say Predator and the Back to the Future movies, which I know he did those all 3 movies. And you can hear similarities. Hey, come back here. You can hear similarities between those 3 movies, and this movie. Kind of odd that he would have similarities between 2 different genre types, but no, you can. I guess he'll use some of the same instruments, same little stingers sometimes, and there's a couple cute rose cards. Oh yeah, Kmart. There's so many store sets. Kmart, KB, Toys R Us, so on and so forth, you know, and True Value, and you know, some of them they did it on their own, and sometimes they would team up with one of the card manufacturers. Like I think those KB ones I showed earlier were with Fleer, I think. Anyway, cards are acting up. That's on the George Brett. Okay. Yeah, I know this is not the most thrilling of videos, but I figured, well, I got them, and I normally do these videos, so why not do this one? You know, or these 2 or 3, probably 3. I'm over 10.5 minutes in, and hopefully I'll be able to get through all these baseball ones, so I can have the football ones, football cards be their own video, well, along with the card shop stuff. Frank Thomas now. This one has on the right hand side where it's kind of somewhat holographic, or how to texture with that, where his face is. There's so many cards that I've bought from this dealer that I've never seen, of like sets that I've never seen before, you know. Or at least the insert sets, the main sets I have seen. Tony Gwynn. Oops, sorry. Like that 91 Studio or something. Here's an old card. Topps Collector Series. Right from the mid to late 80s. From 91 Final Edition Upper Deck set. All-Star card. You know, some Jose Canseco cards. Kmart. There's another store. Topps Collector Series, baseball highlights. Wasn't Canseco the first 40-40 person? I think he was. It's amazing how expensive was the 86 Dunners card got. It's like up to $100 now. Some Randy Johnson card. Beckett had to put in beware of Canseco counterfeits into their price guide. At the header of the set's header listing, you know, in the book or magazine, you know. Now it's what, like maybe a $5 to $10 card, maybe. Big unit, 6'10". I don't think I wouldn't want to be 6'10". I wish I was taller than I am, but not 6'10" tall, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's hard to find stuff in his size. And that's last Randy Johnson card. There's some Ozzie Smith. A nice finish. Sorry about the glare there. 91 Leaf. It's amazing how when this came out, how much cheaper it was than the 90 Leaf. You know, they mass produced the 91 Leaf. The 90 was very limited. The 90 was so expensive. Remember, I think the Frank Thomas card for the 90 set was, I think I remember seeing it be as high as $50. You know, now it's maybe a $10 card. And that's one of the things I want to do with some of these older Beckett's that I have, other price guides, do a comparison of the way things were back in the day versus now. Like, get a Beckett from the early 90s, like between 90 and 92, and then look at the 2018 price guide and just marvel at the drop-offs. Like with the 84 Fleer update set, how expensive that was as a set, and some of the individual cards. It's like night and day. You know, there are so many people who thought they would be making a bunch of money. You know, some people did, of course, but I mean, I bet most people didn't make the money that they thought they were. They weren't. I'm sure there were some people who thought they were going to be able to retire off especially the newer stuff. But nope, it all came crashing down. What goes up must come down. Happens to the best of industries, I guess. Yeah, at least that's my take on it. Nice Barry Bonds Star Quest. I think it's upper deck card. Nice blue, nice shine. Not fancy shine, but still nice. Of course, I'm in Topps 85401 territory with all these Barry Bond cards, but I'm sure he has all the ones that I've shown here. I'm sure it's difficult to have one that he doesn't have, but this is from No Pacific set. Hey, get back here. Jumping out of my hand. Some art card featuring Bo Jackson. Doesn't have any logo or company name on it, just some boring bat. I think Bo Jackson is the biggest what-if story in the history of sports. Just hadn't had that one funky tackle against the Bengals, I think it was, in the playoffs. Back in, what, 91? January 91 or something like that? Or 92 or whatever it was. Sometime in the early 90s. Okay. We're 16 minutes in, and this Bo Jackson Dunder's card is the last baseball card to show you. Now it'll be onto the football and the card shop stuff. Anyway, about my usual spiel at the end of these videos. Okay, about to see you in part 3. Be back in a minute. Have a good one. Thank you for watching.